Hi everybody, it's Audrey and it's day 9 of 'Tis the Season Holiday Scrapping. Today I am creating a page with a cut file from Paige Evans' store in the Silhouette store. So Paige is actually my guest today and I'm super excited, as well as Kelly Barron, both phenomenal scrappers, both completely different styles today. So I would say Kelly Barron and Paige Evans are kind of opposite styles. But still both create amazingly beautiful pages. So please go check out their channels today. So I am using the cut file called Christmas Village, and I'm doing a page about our visit to a gingerbread house gallery. And so I thought that this file was going to be perfect, and I'm so happy I picked it. So I drew some rectangles that were the sizes of my photos because I already have my photos printed at this point. And my vision was kind of just to put the little village pieces in two rows rather, and kind of tuck my photos in among the rows. I was trying to separate the villages here, and I don't know, it wasn't working for some reason. Finally, I got it to work, and I got each to be a separate group, and I don't know what was going on, but I finally figured it out. So my struggle was I had 3 photos, and I wasn't really sure where I was going to put the third photo, if I was going to cut out some of the houses and just stick it up there. So we'll come back to that in a minute. So I cut that out of white cardstock. It's actually probably cutting right now. So I picked this piece of paper from Paige's Turn the Page collection, and I love the little swirly-doos on it, the little kind of doodle lines, and I thought it totally reminded me of like icing you would see in a gingerbread house. Plus the colors are kind of like a gold, or kind of like a citron and kind of a brownish color too. So there's my 3 photos on the gessoed background pattern paper. And to make these houses, well, for these houses, I'm going to try to make them look like gingerbread houses because that's what the page is all about. So I'm going to back each house with some craft cardstock. So I just kind of glue the house on, and I'm doing one house at a time. I had considered backing each small section of the houses with different pattern papers, but I was like, I don't have time for that. That's just going to take me forever. I even thought maybe just doing a couple pieces here and there, but I'm going to embellish them in other ways so that I don't have to back each one with a piece of pattern paper. Okay, so I got the houses all backed. They look super cute. I mean, it totally reminds me of white icing on a gingerbread house. I couldn't be happier with the way they turned out. And then I picked some green papers from a couple of different Pages collections, and just backed the trees with some green pattern paper. So I didn't actually really use any Christmas collections on this page for paper. So I ended up taking out one of the photos. One photo I had was just of the gingerbread village, and it was the same one that my son was looking at in the picture, and in the other picture. So it's kind of a repetitive picture. So I took one out just to make the design better. And then this picture, I didn't like, there's a lot of like empty white space in the top of the photo, and I didn't like how tall it was, so I trimmed it down. It was just a big building in the background. I trimmed it down, and it puts the focus a lot more on the kids, so I'm glad I trimmed that down, and I think it fits better with the overall design. Okay, so I got that all done, and now I'm going to add some mixed media in the background. So my design, as you saw, is just going to be kind of 2 horizontal rows of these little houses. So I'm just going to concentrate this mixed media on the center of the page. And I am using the Heidi Swapp color shine in teal, which is probably my favorite color. And I smush some on with the packaging technique. I splatter some on. I add water to it to really water it down so it spreads easier because I didn't like it so bold. And I love the way that this color shine leaves a shimmer. You can see it down there underneath my right arm. It's shimmering there on the page, and I love that shimmer. And then I like to add some depth to this, so I go in with the seafoam. This is the seafoam color, and add a little bit of that to just a few places with my paintbrush. And I'm going to dab some off too because it does get a little dark. And then I was worried it was too dark, and I was almost going to spray it with some white mist to tone it down a little bit, but it's fine. And then I go in with this Distress Oxide in, oh gosh, I can't remember the color. But it's a pink, but when it mixed with the blue, I knew it was going to kind of make a purpley color. What is that called? Raspberry? Picked raspberry? I love the way that this looks so far. And then I'm going to add some citron drops on top, and I thought that the citron would pick up on the kind of the green I have in the pattern paper there. So I am so happy with that background. I love it so much. So I thought about putting some stars on the top because I thought that the background kind of looked like a sky a little bit, like a wintry sky. And I thought maybe a red, and because I was going to add some red, embellishments in. So I just cut a few of those out and just put them there to see, yeah, maybe. So this is a piece of pattern paper from a 6x6 paper pad from Studio Calico. It's pretty old. It's an old Christmas line, probably 5-6 years old. I think it's called Magical. It might even be older than that, actually. Yeah, I bet it is. And it had perfect size little like peppermints. So I cut those out. I'm going to put those in the house because those are perfect for a gingerbread house page. And then I wanted to make some candy canes. I could not find any tiny candy canes. So I just cut them myself, freehand, out of some pattern paper. You know, it's not that hard to cut a candy cane shape. It's just a J. So if you do have trouble doing things freehand like that, you could always trace it on the back. So do like a J on the back of the paper, just write a letter J and then kind of cut around it, and then you have your perfect candy cane. Okay, so I had picked out red and green papers because I was obviously thinking Christmas colors, and I initially put the pictures with red here, and then I decided it was too much of a contrast, and it really just was too stark with the background, with the mixed media background. So I went with this it's kind of like a purpley gray. I don't know how to describe this color because it's not gray, but it's not purple. It's kind of in between. And I like that much better because I think it goes with it just blends with the background better, but it still frames my photos a little bit. And then I decided instead of having red pattern paper, I was going to bring red in some other ways, just in some little embellishments and stuff, and that will make it look more festive. So I was going through my stash and I found these old shapes, also from Studio Calico. They're kind of like a clear acetate die cut shape, and they're kind of a star pattern. I mean, those have to be pretty old too, probably also 6 or 7 years old. So I just put a couple of those on. They're kind of cool. And I took some buttons from the Fancy Free collection. I picked a big red button there, and then I'm going to put a little teal button down here. And then these are some star confetti from Turn the Page. They're super bright yellow, and especially when you put them on a white cardstock, they look super bright. But I liked it, and when I put it over the blue, like the blue mixed media I did, it looked citron, very similar in color to the mist I had to use, and to the kind of the greenish pattern paper. So I liked adding those little stars on. Okay, so this just kind of popped into my head that, I should add some snow somehow to the tops of these houses. So these are the Nuvo Drops bottles. You may have seen this product. It's kind of like, a lot of people make their own enamel dots with these. So I haven't really used them that much. I've used them a couple of times to embellish, little dots here and there. So I generously add a layer of white to the area of the cut file that looks like it has white snow on the roof. It looks so cute like this, but the next day when I came back and it had dried, it kind of cracked a little bit, and it still looks okay. It kind of looks like it's supposed to look like that, but I think it looked better when it was wet before it dried and cracked. So it's fine. It's it's still super cute. And then I went in with some pink drops, or pink or red, pink, and I just embellished just a tiny. Most of the houses had this little place with there's a little circle in it, so I just added a dot in the circle of the house. These teeny tiny stickers have been one of my favorite things to use in a holiday page for the past 3 or 4 years, and I can't believe I still have as many left as I do. It's from an old Martha Stewart's Crafts sticker sheet, that her scrapbooking stuff that I got, years ago, from like a Joann's clearance, and they're just so teeny tiny, but they were the perfect size to put on these houses. Little wreaths, little candy canes, a little Santa. I just loved it. It was perfect. So I am not doing too much with my cut files right now because I had put all those Nuvo Drop things on the gingerbread houses, and I was like, duh, that was dumb. Why did I do it? And I don't have anything glued down yet. Now I have to wait for the whole thing to dry. So I waited a couple hours. But it's still wet here, so I decided to go through and add my title. But then I have to come back the next day and you know, put the dots behind my adhesive behind the cut files. So I decided just to make the title Gingerbread Love, and so there's a museum in downtown Syracuse called the Erie Canal Museum, because we live pretty much right on the Erie Canal, and they do a gingerbread gallery where they have gingerbread houses each year, and there's different people and businesses in the community that make houses, and they have a little contest, and you can vote, and they're amazing. Some of these gingerbread houses are just incredible, and it was our first time going. It was really, really fun, and a really cool museum too. We toured the rest of the museum as well, so it was a really fun day, and the kids got so inspired, and just some of the stuff that people use, like, you know, different cereals and stuff to make these houses. It was kind of incredible. And then we went home and made our own, but yeah, we just bought kits because mommy doesn't have time to go buy all these kinds of supplies to make gingerbread houses. So yeah, we just bought the kits, and we still had a blast. So, okay. I added some twine, some red and white striped twine. I'm going with a lot of the red and white here because I feel like the candy bits make it, you know, really feel like gingerbread. And I'm going to add all the little embellishments that I can glue down. I'm going to glue those onto the little houses and trees and stuff now, even though the white Nouveau drops are still drying. I didn't talk about this part, but I had picked out some red washi tape, red and white striped, and I thought maybe I was going to make a little border. But I decided against that and instead made a little heart. So I just put the washi tape on the red paper that I had cut out earlier to frame the picture and I didn't use. And I lined up the lines in the washi tape and then just cut out a heart shape. And the title of the page is just going to be Gingerbread Love. And what else? Yeah, twine, title, okay, yep, talked about that. So I don't do too much else here. I'm just kind of placing things on, and I'm using foam dots for a lot of the little peppermint pieces and the other paper pieces. And then for the buttons, I'm using glue dots and gluing those down. I don't think foam dots work very well with buttons. I'd much rather use the glue dots. And I use the clear acetate starbursts there, the Sweet Calico ones. I use glue dots in those. You can kind of see the dot through it if you look close enough because it is a clear, embellishment, but that doesn't really bother me that much. I had that one teal button in the bottom right corner of the photo on the bottom, and so I felt I had to put a few more teal accents around the page. So I put a couple teal enamel dots just scattered around. And then I went back to these stars, and I placed this, I moved this star around lots and lots, and I think it ends up there. Yeah, it does. There it is. So that's where the star ended up. And that was it. I didn't show you gluing my my houses and stuff down, but I just popped them up with foam dots. So you can kind of see them there in that picture. So I hope you enjoyed this page. I love this page. It might be my favorite one so far. And ironically, I didn't use hardly any Christmas or holiday stash on it. So, but I still love it. So thank you so much. Please go check out Paige's page, which I'm sure is incredible, and Kelly's page, which I'm sure is incredible. And I can't wait to watch their videos too. I will see you tomorrow for day 10. Stay scrappy, friends. Thanks for coming by.